Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Sushmita, and in this video I am going to rate the books that I have read till now from June till today in July. So well, I have not read many new books in these months because I fell sick and I took time to recover, and during that time I reread my comfort books, the whole Harry Potter series and a few Frederick Workman books. So I'm not going to rate them in this video. I'll be rating the books, the new books that I read during these days. So the first book on my list is Homegoing by Yagyasi. I will read the blurb for you. So it says, Effia and Essie, two sisters with two very different destinies. One sold into slavery, one a slave trader's wife. The consequences of their fate reverberate through the generations that follow. From the Gold Coast of Africa to the plantations of Mississippi, from the missionary schools of Ghana to the dive bars of Harlem. Spanning continents and generations, Yagyasi has written a miraculous novel, an intense, heartbreaking story of one family and, through their lives, the story of America itself. I'm reading this blurb because it's such an accurate blurb. So as mentioned in the blurb, this book follows the lives of two stepsisters, Effia and Essie, and who do not know each other and who are separated due to various circumstances which I won't mention. So these two stepsisters, how their fates differ, one being sold into slavery and one being married to a slave trader. So the book also follows the following generations of these sisters, and it is very powerful and impactful in describing how slavery it impacted or it impacts all the generations that follow. It's such a strong and powerful voice, and considering that this is the debut novel of the author, this was quite a strong book. And it is also very difficult to read, but I think it is very important book. And also it's sorrowful at times, it's gentle at times, and it is not at all lenient towards the slave traders from their communities also. And yeah, I gave this book 4 stars. The next book that I read is 10 minutes 38 seconds in this strange world by Elif Shafak. So the story of this book begins in the year 1990 with Tequila Leila, a prostitute who gets murdered and dumped in a dumpster outside Istanbul. So after being murdered, Tequila Leila enters a stage of consciousness during those last moments, and the story unfurls through her stream of consciousness. And we are delved into the story of this person, how she got to be known as Tequila Leila, her childhood, her family, her foray into adulthood, her love, her domestic life, and her very dear misfit friends who loved each other and who were a very tight-knit community. So it was a very beautiful read, and I got teary-eyed at times because of this book. The writing is so beautiful, and what I loved mostly is it does not drag the story, and at times very mundane everyday things are described in such beautiful and vivid manner. Also, the author has a great knack for presenting things like the aroma of something. Here it mentions this the scent of the spiced goat stew, and the descriptions are so vivid. Day-to-day life, how beautifully the everyday mundane life the author describes that you feel like you are a part of it. Also, the vivid details she beautifully brings to life the hustle bustle of a busy street, the aroma of various food, the taste of various food, and she brings to life and she makes you feel part of this world that the author creates. And so again, this was a 4-star read for me. Also, I suggest, if you haven't read the book, then I suggest that you read it, because you are not going to be disappointed. It is a very beautiful read. Also Homegoing. If I haven't mentioned, if you haven't read the book, then please try it. It's these two books, I love them. The next books that I read are the Winter Night Trilogy by Catherine Arden. The first book is The Bear and the Nightingale. The second book is The Girl in the Tower. And the third and final one is The Winter of the Witch. So I have mentioned and gushed about how much I love this book, The Bear and the Nightingale. So the story these books follow is that of Vasya, a Russian girl who grows up in the wintry landscape of Russia, and she grows up, or she is born in a society where the girls are meant to get married, have children, and manage household. And in a society where the simplest of things, when girls they differ, or when the girls do little, even the simplest of things outside the norm, then they are looked down upon and are considered as witch. But in this story, our protagonist Vasya is actually a witch. So in a society that is so blinded by orthodox religion and that penalizes women for moving even a little bit out of the norm, that out of the boundaries that the society has set, Vasya, how she struggles to fit into that, or how she struggles to break free from all the shackles that try to bind her. This book, this trilogy, was one of my favorite reads, fantasy reads till now. And also finally I read a book where the protagonist is not described as this, a fantasy read where the protagonist is not described as this most breathtaking person, with big eyes, big hazel eyes, long blonde hair or long curly hair and skin like porcelain. So this was a fresh change from all that narrative, of defining a woman by her beauty, by her external beauty. This was a great read. Also, it is based on Russian folklore, and it is very environmental. It beautifully describes that cold Russian landscape and the beautiful forests, white forests in the snow, and you get the feel of sitting by a fire in a very snowy, wintry evening. So the book is described as wintry actually, but I read it in the summer and yet it did not disappoint. And it was a welcome change from this terrible heat to get lost in a cold world. So I rate this book's 4 stars. If I could rate 4.5 stars, but Goodreads doesn't allow that. So again, other 4-star reads. And from here on, the disappointment starts. I think I have jinxed myself with great reads, and now I don't seem to lay my hand on books that I like. The next book that I read was Ahalya by Gupta. I am a mythology fan. I love mythology, especially Indian mythology. So I picked this book up hoping to find a different perspective on Ahalya. So this book presents Ahalya as a soul, and who is not born out of a woman, but her body is crafted by the creator Brahma himself. And her soul is introduced into her body, and then she's sent to earth with Maharishi Gautam, and her mortal life with Maharishi Gautam, and how she gets married to him, and how later she is tricked by Indra, which is a story known to most Indians. But I picked this up expecting something different, and there was something different, which was that Ahalya was just reduced to a woman with desires, a vain, self-obsessed, complaining, whining woman who has desires. That's it. There is no deeper meaning, there is nothing. And this was a huge disappointment, and I give this book 1 star. Again, the next read was Kunti by Gupta. I put myself through it again because I got these 2 books together. So I got through Kunti, and it was again about the story of Kunti, who we know from the Mahabharata as the mother of the Pandavas, the wife of Pandu, this matriarch from Hastinapur. But one thing I loved about this book was how it delved into the life of Kunti from her childhood, and she is presented as this very ambitious, clever, in fact a genius person who has a voice in the story, especially in the patriarchal politics of Hastinapur, which is mostly governed by Bhishma according to this book. She has her own voice, and she manages to present her point of view, and that I liked about this book. Again, what I did not like was this obsession with Indra, the king of the Devas, and how while describing Indra and with the obsession of Indra, I felt like this book again in its attempt of to present Indra as this very mystical, ever-eluding god, ever-eluding Deva. I felt like it tried to justify how Indra, he cheated Ahalya by acquiring the body of her husband Gautam. So when Ahalya, she was having intercourse with Indra, she felt that it was her husband, which is very problematic, which was problematic then, which is even mentioned as problematic everywhere. But here the book tried to justify it by presenting Indra as this very elusive Deva who cannot be possessed but can only be loved and all, which I just hated. But also I am not a fan. After reading these 2 books, I realized that I am not a fan of this writing style, which is very purple at time, the purple prose, but and also very dry at the same time. So it was better than Ahalya, so I give this book 2 stars. Again, the next book that I read is Lemon Tree Cafe by Kathy Bramley. This book is about the story of this 30-something woman, what's her name, Rosie Featherstone, who walks out of her job because she had to compromise her principles, and as a feminist she could not compromise her feminist principles, and she walks out of her job, and then she starts working at her Nana's cafe, which is the Lemon Tree Cafe, and it follows her life. It's a very slice of life kind of book, and we get to know her life there, how she enjoys this simple life out from the hustle bustle and this robotic busy culture of metropolitan cities. And it's just every Christmas movie cliche that you can find, but it is very warm at times. And again, it was not a good read for me. It was average to me because the 30-somethings of this book behave like teenagers, and they have such trivial problems. Everything happens at a surface level. There is no depth. Even the issues with depth are not handled with proper care. Also, Okay, I will not mention, I cannot mention this important plot point in this book, but okay, does not matter what circumstances you are facing in your life, does not matter if you are troubled, does not matter you are struggling, does not matter your sexuality, does not matter your gender identity, nothing justifies forcing yourself on someone. Nothing justifies that. And if a book tries to make me sympathize with something like that, then I automatically hate that book, and I have no sympathy whatsoever for something like this. So that disappointed me a lot. And there is of course a love story in a slice of life book with a 30-something protagonist who walks out of her high-paying corporate job to work in a cafe at her Nana's place. And again, oh my god, she's so obnoxious, this protagonist, towards the supposed love of her life, and I don't know why anyone would fall in love with that person. I don't know. So maybe I'm a bitter person who does not like love stories. Maybe. I don't know, but I did not like this book. And again, it's a 2.5-star read, but Goodreads does not allow that. So I will rate this 3 stars. Just because I think it is better than Kunti. That's it in this video. I hope I have a better luck with my next reads, because the last 3 books have been disappointing. And also I picked up this Home of Sand by Gitanjali Shree, and again that book has put me in a reading slump. So yeah, I hope I get out of this slump, and stay tuned. If you like this video, then like it, and also share this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye.